Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. They've got salt, they've got sand, and they have mulch come springtime. And of course, in the meantime, we still have plenty of products to take you through the winter. In case there are any winter storms, although this one here along the coastal areas will be mostly rain. They are Long Island's largest rock salt source. 631-756-1125 is the phone number. Nowhere can you find better prices. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. So here's our latest storm system. We've been in an active pattern, but there's been a general lacking of cold air in the coastal areas, southeast New England, down into the mid-Atlantic states. We have seen just enough cold air that it's producing winter weather inland, and we're seeing that this afternoon in central Pennsylvania. Even in south central Pennsylvania, near the Maryland border, there was moderate to heavy snow early this afternoon. Warmer air is pushing up the eastern seaboard, and we've already have temperatures that are reaching up above 40 in many areas from New Jersey to southern New England. So the vast majority of what falls there obviously is going to be rain, except for maybe for a very, very short time at the start. Now, the winter weather advisories that are up, if they're up for your particular area, the snow amounts out of this ahead of it are just not really anything to worry too much about. And then it all gets washed away by rain. So basically, we're talking about a coating to an inch. Now, there are going to be some higher amounts in some places, especially where there's a little bit of elevation in northwest New Jersey. You head up into the Catskills, northeastern PA, we're talking about 4 to maybe 6 inches there. In Connecticut, mostly south of Route 84, it's a coating to an inch. North of there, maybe a couple of inches. And then you start to get into the bigger amounts. But even in upstate New York, and on up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, it's sort of low-end winter storm warning conditions that that we're seeing here. And the bigger story, I believe, is going to be for areas from east of New York City, southern New England, Long Island, southeastern New England, where we've got coastal flood advisories, and for minor coastal flooding, maybe a few pockets here of moderate coastal flooding, and the wind, which will be from the southeast, and it will be gusting up to 50 miles an hour during the overnight period. Here's the latest look at the radar as of 1:20 Eastern Time, and the leading edge here, really, it's sort of a yawn. And anytime you see snow breaking out in Vermont and New Hampshire, before it breaks out in northern New Jersey, New York City, and points south, you know that this is going to be a rain event. And that's exactly what's happening here. The dry slot is really pulling its way up, but much of the snow in central Pennsylvania westward is now done. And it's now about to change to rain in southern Pennsylvania and has been raining in Maryland and down in Virginia. Meanwhile, we do have snow in southern Michigan and northern Indiana and northwest Ohio, where we also have some winter storm warnings that are up there. But this system is playing out according to plan, although it does look a little bit less impressive than what we saw just a day or two ago. Here's the probability of at least 2 inches. A little smaller than what was indicated yesterday. The not the darkest blue, but the next level color is a 50% line, and that cuts across the northwest corner of New Jersey, up the Hudson Valley from St. Dutchess County northward, northwesternmost Connecticut in Litchfield County, and then on northward from there. You start to get into the 80 to 100% probability in the reddish colors. And that covers a good part of northern and southwestern New York, as well as northern New England. And it makes total sense. With the lack of cold air, that's what you're going to see. So let's run through the next few days and take a look at all of this. And I'm just going to roll back here. Here's our storm this afternoon, sitting in southeast Indiana, right near Louisville. It moves quickly up to Lake Erie this evening. You see the gradient there from New Jersey eastward gets tight, which is why there'll be some wind issues. At this point, it will have changed to rain up through the lower Hudson Valley and through at least the southern half of Connecticut and Rhode Island. And then that rain line goes all the way up to the Vermont-Massachusetts state line and even gets into some rain up in northern New York toward the very end. And then the low moves east to near the coast on Thursday. Heavy snows up in northern Maine, some ice in northwestern Maine, and back over to northern New Hampshire. And then our low moves away, and it turns colder and drier for Friday. And into Saturday, we've got a weak weather front that comes through on Saturday. Not much with it. Should be a decent start to the weekend. And then we have the next weather system on Sunday as it approaches. Here, again, not much to write home about. Temperatures on Sunday will be back into the 40s. And Saturday, probably not get out of the 30s. We'll probably see some showers, maybe some snow well to the north, but this doesn't look like any kind of heavy event. Some heavier rains in the southeastern part of the United States. And then a colder high builds in to start off next week. We're still seeing weather systems coming out of the southern part of the jet stream. So the active pattern does continue into next week. Whether it means that we'll have some snow chances or not, we'll leave that up to the weather models over the next couple of days. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So as far as the western, just a quick look at the western part of the United States through all of this. There is a system that is dropping southward from the northwest down into California in the southwest with some rain and snow, but doesn't really look all that enticing here as we go through the weekend. Other than that, the weather around much of the rest of the country, once the storm is out of the way, is calm. And we will be talking about that and much more tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.